boys. We're fucking back. Let's go. Me and Dylan Ito, the informed morons, the OGs. We just completed a week-long fantasy football dynasty draft. Ito, how you living? How you feeling about this draft that we just completed?
I'm feeling great. Not so much about the draft. It's gambling season again, though, so I'm fucking pumped. Time to make some money this season. A lot of new teams. A lot of new teams to talk about that might be in the running. A lot of new teams to win money off of. A lot of teams that are overhyped that they're going to be losing people a lot of money, so you better listen up.
That's right. We love to gamble. We love to make money, and we love to make money for our listeners of this show. But today we're going to start it off with our draft that we just concluded, give some people some fantasy tips, and then we're going to dive right into week one, read the lines, see the over-unders, and make some predictions. Overall, though, we're going to win you some fucking money, and we're going to win you those goddamn fantasy leagues. We went to Montana. We flew out there to Montana, visited Cody Freitas. He hosted us out there. Shout out Freight Train. Great time. Fucking wake surfing, barbecuing, just hanging. Great time. But let's get to this fantasy board right here. And let me remind you guys, this is Dynasty. This is Dynasty right here. So it's a little different strategy. Ito, I'll start off with your pick right here. You were the number 6 pick.
Yeah.
And it looks like we both kind of had the same strategy, right? Go for a young, promising running back. I was the number 1 pick. I ended up going with Najee Harris, number 1 overall. I was a little worried about it, but I went with him because I think he doesn't really have a quarterback right now. He's got Mitchell Trubisky, and the backup is Pickett. So I think they're going to be running a lot. And he's young, and he's doing really good last year. He gets a lot of touches. He gets a lot of passes thrown his way. So that's why I went Najee. What do you think about that? Would you have had a different running back that you would have went after?
That's a tough one, man. I mean, Najee Harris is a great choice. And take in mind, people, that Jonathan Taylor was a keeper pick. And so Jonathan Taylor was not on the board.
Right.
That would have been my first running back off the board. But because he wasn't available, I think that's a great pick. I don't know about for this year because you did mention he does not have a quarterback.
Right.
The one thing I like about Najee Harris a lot is you mentioned it. He gets a lot of passes. So those are value touches, him getting passes in the half PPR league that we're running. Mm-hmm. But what I don't like about it is I don't know how many touches in the red zone he's going to get or on the goal line because I don't know how many touchdowns the Steelers are going to be scoring this year. That's going to come down a lot to the play of Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, whoever ends up with that job. But if they do end up scoring some points, then yeah, Najee Harris is going to be a great pick. And for the future, he's going to eventually have a quarterback. Kenny Pickett, I think, is a guy who will develop well. And he's only going to get better and better as time goes on. And I think that's a great choice for having a running back for the next 5 years that you don't have to worry about an RB1.
Right. Well, thank you. I'll take the kind words. And like you're saying, this year probably won't be the best, but this is for the long haul. In Dynasty, you draft your guys and you keep them for as long as they're in the league, basically, or as long as they're producing until you feel like dropping them. So that was my reasoning for that. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just crossing my fingers, hoping for the best. Let's go on to pick number 2, Christian McCaffrey. That was another keeper up there. Michael Breen kept him. I like the pick. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, he's a freaking dynamite running back, absolute monster when it comes to the numbers. He's putting up points every single week, but we have seen him get injured. Is this his comeback season, or do you see maybe him getting hurt again, maybe a drop down in touches, a drop down in points? What do you think?
I think it really depends how they use him. If they keep using him as a horse, like a Derrick Henry type, I mean, Derrick Henry is almost double his size, and he's still getting hurt. So when you have a guy that's that explosive, but a little bit undersized to be a horse of a bat, you almost have to expect an injury. I would like to see the Panthers start using him a lot like the Niners used Debo last year and actually split him out wide. He's a great pass catcher. Yep. He can run routes. And I think that if they start using him like that, which is a possibility after seeing how some of these guys, Cordell Patterson and Debo in particular, are being used, I think the Panthers might kind of realize, hey, we can't have this guy in the backfield every play, but we want him on the field for a high percentage of the offensive snaps. I think that he'll do great. And he's 26 years old too, and running backs are so weird, man. They got such a short lifespan in the NFL. that he probably only has 3 years left max anyway, in terms of his highest production. And so Michael Breen's in a fucking win now situation. And for a win now guy, it doesn't get better. He's a guaranteed 22 points when he's on the field.
Definitely. And if you're in a redraft league, Christian McCaffrey at 2, that's a great pick.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't go wrong with that. I think he'll be fine. But towards the future, we're going to see how that turns out for him, because he's going to have to get a good running back rookie that just immediately produces when Christian McCaffrey falls off. And who knows when that will happen. But on to the next pick. We're starting to get some quarterbacks off the board, the young stud quarterbacks. Josh Allen at 3, Herbert at 4. I think both of those are solid picks. I was pretty jealous when I saw them come off the board. But then, you start to lose out on these running backs, right? That you're not going to have a chance to get one of these top tier running backs, these young guys. And we know how rare a good running back is in the NFL that's producing numbers every week. So what do you think about Josh Allen and Herbert going 3 and 4 for a dynasty league draft? Is that a good move, bad move? What do you think?
So initially I thought it was a terrible move, but as the draft went on and I saw how things started to play out, I actually really like both those picks. I heard of this strategy called an RB0 strategy, and I really like it a lot, and I wish I would have ran with it a little bit more. It basically, the point is the NFL season is chaotic. And when you go with an RB0, which is basically not taking running backs to later rounds and taking guys who are the second guy in a split backfield, such as like an AJ Dillon or even like a Naeem Hines, Tony Pollard, guys who are going to get touches, but you could snag over in like the 6th round. And the point of that is wide receivers and quarterbacks are pretty much, they're set in stone. You know who the guys are, besides like rookies coming up, and every once in a while you'll get a boom guy that is kind of in their 3rd, 4th season, but it's a lot more rare. And so I think that when we see this season play out, I think the guys that do have quarterbacks and wide receivers, and as the years move on and these running backs, like I said, their shelf life is so short, that we're going to be eventually having to draft running back sooner than these guys are going to have to draft a new quarterback or wide receiver. Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting how it plays out. Like I said, initially I didn't like it at all, but the more I saw this draft play out and I see who my quarterbacks are, I really like those picks. I think that they're going to be great. I think you can't go wrong with either of those guys. Both of them are going to be studs and putting up numbers for the next 10 years.
Yep, I got to agree. We know who these guys are. They have such a high ceiling, and I think they have a really high floor. I mean, I don't think they're going to be putting up 17 points, 18 points. They're at least going to be getting 25 each week. And at quarterback, that's super valuable. I especially like the Josh Allen pick because we know he's mobile. We know he finds the end zone a lot. And Herbert's just getting started. I mean, what was his 2nd year last year? Putting up monster numbers. And he has one of those guys on his team that we didn't think was very good in Mike Williams. And we saw him explode at the beginning of the season. Kind of went through a slump in the middle, but then back again towards the end of the season. So I'm curious to see how he does, how the Chargers do. Especially against my Raiders in the AFC West. So we will stay tuned with those guys, but I do like those picks. On to the next one. We got Rob Soto picking one of the most dynamic wide receivers in the NFL, absolute monster, Justin Jefferson. I like the pick. I personally don't like to go wide receiver in the 1st round. It may be different for Dynasty. I get it, but I was a little thrown off by that pick. I'm like, I don't know, Rob, but what do you think about that one?
Well, I think Rob's one of the worst fantasy football players of all time.
The Sacco Award recipient this year.
Yeah, it may be a decent pick, but at the same time, now that he's on Rob's team, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Justin Jefferson's a fucking stud. Let's just move on from that one because I really don't know. It's a toss-up. I'm with you. I don't like taking wide receivers in the 1st round. There's so many wide receivers, especially now. A lot of teams are going 3 wide, and that he has 2 more studs on the team. They got a new offensive coordinator who really likes to run 3 wide. So Adam Thielen and KJ Osborne, someone that you got in a super late round.
Super late.
I think they're going to get not as many touches, of course, but they're going to get a lot of touches, and that takes away a lot of value from Justin Jefferson.
The number one thing that I hate about Justin Jefferson, it's not his abilities. not even the play calling abilities of the Vikings. It is Kirk Cousins is the quarterback. And I just don't trust that guy. I know he's good. I know he puts up numbers, but he's just so inconsistent. And let's say you need Justin Jefferson this week. You need him to ball out, and Kirk Cousins has an absolute shit game. It just sucks when that's your number one pick. And you have him for years to come. Like, what's going to be the quarterback situation after Kirk Cousins? His age is getting up there. I don't think he's going to be around very much longer, especially at the level that he's at. So that's the biggest thing that I hate about Justin Jefferson. But yeah, we'll move on. We'll let Rob, we'll let Rob fucking live this one down, and give him a break for now. But on to your pick, which I really liked, and this was the guy you were going after, dude. Like, you were pumped up when you saw all these previous picks. You went Williams, Denver Broncos. Break down that pick for me. What was your philosophy behind this pick, and what do you anticipate happening with this player in years to come?
So I mentioned earlier, high value touches for running backs really come down to how many passes do you get and how often are you running in the red zone. And Javonte Williams, with the acquisition of Russell Wilson, I think he's going to get a lot of touches in the red zone. But he's another guy that it's kind of same situation as you. He's still going to be splitting touches with Melvin Gordon. Coach says that he's on a pitch count this year, which isn't great for the year, but we'll see what happens. Melvin Gordon's getting up in age, and Javonte Williams is just a much better running back. And so eventually they're going to have to, in those games where they really need to win, which is going to be a lot of them because of how competitive that division is, they're going to have to start using him at least 60-40. And I hope he goes off. I hope he gets a lot of red zone touches. I hope the Broncos offense is absolutely explosive. I'm kind of banking on that for couple of my picks this year. So
yeah, I like that pick a lot. I love Williams, and like you're saying, with the addition to Russell Wilson and how competitive the AFC West is, they're going to give him the ball in the red zone. So I anticipate him getting a lot more touchdowns this year, a lot more looks, because let's be honest, Melvin Gordon isn't that good or as good as he used to be. He is older. He does add a little bit of experience to the mix. But I think if anything, he's just training up Williams, and the coaching staff kind of knows that. They're trying to lead him into a more dynamic position at running back. So that's a great pick for years to come. Super young guy, stud.
And another thing I want to say about Javonte is I feel like a lot of the reason – well, there's two reasons I feel like he's on a pitch count, or they say he's on a pitch count. One is injury, of course. They don't need him to get hurt. But the other is his biggest weakness is pass blocking. And which – if I was a coach, I totally understand, like, you need a guy who could pass block for your quarterback. But as far as fantasy goes, I don't give a shit if he lets Russell Wilson get hit.
No, doesn't matter.
Not at all. Not at all.
Do your thing, boy. Just get them touchdowns and get hella yards, and we're okay. You could suck. Kyler Murray, next pick off the board. Cody Freitas. This is the league champion this year. He won the league championship. He's a beast. I liked his draft, but I will say I got 7 personal. I get it. Kyler Murray's young. He is good. He puts up numbers, everything like that. But I kind of feel like Cody Cameron was getting in his head a little bit, while we're on the boat out there. And dude, Cody's like, you guys, I'm going to get Kyler Murray at 1. I'm going to get Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's just talking like, because we're in what is it? It's a 4 flex league, and like one of them is a super flex or something like that.
We have 4 flex positions and a super flex. So a super flex, you could play anywhere from a linebacker if you're Rob, or a quarterback if you're Smoke.
Right. So Cody was trying to break down that philosophy, and Cody Cameron was trying to break down that philosophy, and the whole time you could just see Cody Freitas's wheels turning, thinking of what quarterbacks he could take, and I think he kind of got in his head a little bit, man. I think he messed up the pick, but that's just me. What do you think?
So I don't want to say he messed up the pick. I think Kyler Murray might be the best athlete of our generation. And so you can't really go wrong taking the best athlete in our generation as a dynasty pick. And the reason I say that is the guy doesn't watch film. He fucking lights up the league. He could have gone pro in baseball. The guy could go pro in video games. I'm sure he's a good bowler. The guy could do it all. He's just an absolute stud of an athlete. He's going to get a lot of points on the ground, which is huge for fantasy.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. The injury prone, he is a small dude. My housemate kind of told me, hey, you got to watch him a little more. Every time this guy gets touched, he goes flying. And I was like, that's bullshit. But yeah, every time this guy gets touched, he's fucking parallel to the ground. It's insane. So if he gets through a full season or gets through multiple full seasons, that's a great pick. But if he keeps getting injured, the Cardinals might have wasted a lot of money, and Raiders might have wasted a draft pick.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the other thing I want to bring up is I feel like there was a lot of other quarterbacks that he could have got in later rounds for a better value. Like, for example, I love Jalen Hurts. I love Russell Wilson. Trey Lance, he did get in the later rounds, but he could have got him and picked up a couple running backs. He did pick up good wide receivers, which is good and all that. But I don't know. I just feel like he could have got just as good as a quarterback in the later rounds if he just waited a little bit. But with that being said, maybe he knows something we don't know. He's been studying up on these dynasty leagues for a long time, and he's probably got some good strategies that we don't even know about. So who knows? That might be the best pick of the draft. But right now, I will say I don't really like it too much personally. But hey, his other picks are great. So we'll break down his other picks a little bit later. On to the next. Jamar Chase. Kyle George picked him up. Another wide receiver. We talked about how we don't like wide receivers in the first round, but he's got Joe Burrow as opposed to Kirk Cousins. This guy's a way more athletic, got a fucking arm on him, way more consistent. They just went to the Super Bowl, super young. I mean, that's everything you could ask for. I like that pick a little bit more than Justin Jefferson, even though they are like exactly the same. They went to the same school, learned all the same shit, have all the same moves. They do the gritty the same.
Yeah, they do.
They do. So I like that pick a little bit more, but still, man, I think you got to go running back or quarterback in Dynasty in the first round. And you got to have a lot of confidence in them. But Jamar Chase, I would pick over Jefferson all day. What do you think about this pick?
I agree 100%. Jefferson has a little bit better of a gritty. I will say that. The guy is oozing the swag, but at the same time, the reason I like Jamar Chase a lot better than Justin Jefferson is Jamar Chase is a little bit sturdier of a dude. He's a guy who's going to get a lot of rocket screens, bubble passes, whereas Justin Jefferson is more of a pure route runner. He's going to be a guy that really has to get open and create separation off routes, whereas Jamar Chase, they're going to force feed him the ball a lot because he's just that kind of athlete. He's explosive with the ball, explosive without the ball. He's got his quarterback from college who I think is going to be the next, I'm not going to say the next Tom Brady, but he's got ice in his veins. He's got the same demeanor. He's got that cool personality. He's a fucking stud. So you can't go wrong, especially because if you look at the second round, you got Joe Burrow next. So when you got both of those guys on the same team, he's going to be stacking a lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards.
Oh, yeah. That's a great stack right there. And for years to come, I mean, they're just getting started. And I'm sure that's not the last time they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I think they'll be back.
I think so too.
Yep. But on to the next. We have another keeper on the board in Cody Cameron with the 9th pick, Patrick Mahomes, keeping a quarterback. I don't really like that pick too much either. I mean, Patrick Mahomes just lost his best wide receiver in Tyreek Hill. He's in Miami now. What's going to happen? Who's going to fill that void? I know they're bringing in a new rookie and Sky Moore, and he's kind of looking to fill that Tyreek role. He's got wheels. He's got hands, all that. But then we got, Juju Smith-Schuster, Valdez-Scantling that came over. Of course, we still have Travis Kelce, but he's getting up there in age. What's up with the running back situation? They just drafted Isaiah Pacheco. They got Edwards-Helaire back there. I'm just curious to see how the Chiefs do this year. It's kind of a question mark for me. So I don't know about that pick. But with that being said, Patrick Mahomes is fucking electric. The guy with lasers. I think he'll be okay when it comes to his numbers that he's putting up in fantasy. But what do you think about this pick, Dylan? I got to hear it.
I honestly love it. I think last year what we saw was a huge development from Patrick Mahomes. Everyone said he had a really slow start and that he wasn't having a great season. But what I saw was something totally different. I saw a quarterback that was really trying to get the ball off in time, whereas before he was trying to create a lot on his own. And for that reason, I think Tyreek Hill he's going to be a factor, losing him in the offense, just because defenses don't have to worry about getting exposed over the top as much. There's not a guy in the league more explosive than Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that Patrick Mahomes is a lot more developed as a quarterback, and there will be a lot less of those plays that do get extended because he will be able to go through his progressions and get the ball off in time, 3 steps, 5 steps, whatever the play is calling for. And so I think Travis Kelce will have a huge year, and one of those other receivers is going to have to step up. But Patrick Mahomes will make it happen. He's a stud. He's probably the best quarterback in the league besides Tom Brady.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. I mean, him, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, maybe I'd throw Herbert in there too. They're all absolute monsters. You can't go wrong.
Joe Burr.
How could I forget that? But yeah, it's solid. Solid. I wouldn't have kept Mahomes, but I'm just I like to go after running backs. As you can tell from my draft, I like running backs in the early round. I want to have the studs, you know? Yeah, we're both in the same mindset. It's just I've been fucked from not picking up lots of running backs because if one goes down, you got to have an extra to go in there that's going to put up numbers. You know, you can always find a wide receiver. You can always find a subpar quarterback. There's lots of old guys in the league that are dependable, that can put up numbers. You can get Tom Brady in the later rounds, Matthew Stafford, like I picked up in the later rounds, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, guys like that. But hey, we'll see how it turns out for him. He's super young, got him for years to come. So on to the next pick, which is absolutely unfair. The cornhole champ himself, Greg Steinbeck, great-great-grandson of John Steinbeck. You're probably familiar with his work. He came in first place with the cornhole competition, so he got the number 10 pick, and he had a keeper named Jonathan Taylor. You heard of him? Yeah, at the number 10 pick, JT, and absolutely unfair right after with the second round first pick, Derrick Henry. Goddamn, when I saw that, my heart broke a little bit. I know Derrick Henry is getting up there in age. This is a dynasty league, but God, he's going to put up numbers for the next couple years. I got to anticipate. And with him and JT on the roster, he's going to be tough going up against every single week, unless one of these guys gets hurt, which I'm crossing my fingers they do because they're both workhorses. We'll see what happens. What do you think?
I never wish injury upon anyone, but at the same time, in terms of this fantasy league, it wouldn't be the worst thing for it to happen. But yeah, I mean, fuck, dude.
Maybe like a sprained ankle or something, you know, not anything serious, right?
Yeah, exactly. Something where he's out just for playoffs or some shit like that. But fuck Greg, dude. Guy wins everything. It's unreal. Freaking cornhole champ takes Jonathan Taylor 10. I knew it was gonna happen.
God.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah, we all saw that coming, but hey, you can only do what you can control, right? We can't control Greg. He's a monster. He's good at everything he does. He got out there, started wake surfing like his first time ever without a rope or anything. He's just riding it like a monster.
Yeah.
So I got a feeling he might be the champion this year after this draft. We'll break it down a little bit more. But let's go back to Cody. I was talking shit about his Patrick Mahomes keeper, but he totally redeemed himself with the second pick, picking up Austin Eckler. I don't understand how that guy was there for him, but he was another stud running back. Kind of old a little bit, getting up there a little bit. We've seen him get injured before, but I'm looking at him in the 500 pounds. He's looking good. The bald head's all shiny and everything. It looks like he's been taking his vitamins. I anticipate a big year for him. But I was talking shit a little bit. I said Isaiah Spiller is their new rookie running back. But check out who he got in the 10th round. Isaiah Spiller. That's a great strategy. He's got both of them. If one goes down, they're going to be getting lots of numbers. So what do you think about this Austin Eckler pick from Cody Cam?
I don't love it, especially after he let me get DeAndre Swift later on in that round. I would have gone DeAndre Swift over him. The guy's 23 years old, gets more touches out of the backfield than probably anyone in terms of passes. Guy's a guaranteed 20 points, and I don't even know if he had that great of a season last year. If the Lions could move the ball fucking worth of shit, he's going to double those points up, and it's going to be unbelievable if he could start scoring some touchdowns. So I just like the upside of DeAndre Swift a lot better. I like Joe Mixon better than Austin Eckler. If you were going to go with a guy that's a little bit older, Eckler's actually even a year older than Mixon. So
yeah,
I think even Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, if you're going to get a guy that you want guaranteed points every week and a lot of touchdowns, it's hard not to go with a Dalvin Cook or Nick Chubb. So Austin Eckler was an all right pick, but getting Isaiah Spiller, like you said, kind of solidified that pick for him. So
definitely, it made it a little more safe for him. But I gotta agree with what you're saying. I'd way rather have DeAndre Swift in a dynasty league over Austin Eckler. Maybe in a redraft league, I would go Austin Eckler over DeAndre Swift.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, I am a sucker for the off-season workout videos. If I see them squatting like 5+ as a running back, I'm like, I gotta get that guy. Which is why I picked up Nick Chubb in the second round, because I saw him like squatting 600. I know Coach Cam would agree with me. He would say, get that fucking guy. So let's move on. Let's move on to your pick. We'll cruise through these next two. We already talked about the Joe Burrow pick from Kyle with the stack with Jamar. Amazing. Years to come, he's going to have that on his roster. Another monster of a draft from Kyle. He always does shit good when it comes to the draft. On the freight train, Cooper Kupp. Can't go wrong with him. How old is Cooper Kupp? I think he's like 27 or something like that.
I think he's like 29. Let me look that up real quick. He's 29 years old.
29 years old. He just won Super Bowl MVP, getting up there in age a little bit. I see a couple years of him thriving still, but eventually he'll have to redraft someone. But wide receivers are a dime a dozen. We always see stud rookies coming out of college and stuff like that. So I think he'll be okay. I would love to have Kupp on my roster, but we're going after running backs in the first couple rounds. That's the strategy that I think you got to stick with. So on to yours. Absolutely great pick for you. Williams, then fucking what's DeAndre Swift. I mean, how can you get better than that? Those two guys are going to be great for years to come. Lots of looks, lots of touchdowns. And you kept going running back after that too. So I think you're going to be fucking good, man. I really like your first like 7 rounds right here. I mean, you went DeAndre Swift, Alvin Kamara, Cam Akers, then you got Judy, Deontay, and AJ Dillon. I mean, you're set. You're set for running back for a while. So I really like that strategy. I know a lot of people were making fun of you. I wasn't one of them. I saw what you were doing. I'm like, damn, okay. When I saw Williams and Swift on your team, I was like, dude, this is dangerous. But what do you think about your picks? I know you're saying you're not the biggest fan of your draft. Are you still liking the strategy at least?
I like the strategy. So seeing how it played out, I wish I would have taken Aaron Jones instead of Alvin Kamara, knowing that I would get AJ Dillon down in the 7th round.
Yeah.
Because have both of them. I'm trying to work out a trade right now, try to make that happen. But the guy fucking who has Aaron Jones is being a fucking dipshit and not making any trades. So we'll see what happens. I'm pushing for it. He lives with me, so it should happen at some point this year. Alvin Kamara, don't get me wrong, is an absolute stud. But where I think I went wrong is Alvin Kamara is a win now guy, and I don't have a win now team. I have a team that I think is going to get better as the years go on. And I like that he's going to keep me competitive. But we'll see how it plays out. If I could have a good season this year, Jerry Jeudy is going to be a big part of that. That's another pick that I'm really questioning. I know that there's been a lot of talk who's the number 1 over in Denver. Is it going to be Jerry Jeudy? Is it going to be Cortland Sutton? Tim Patrick went down. They gave him the bag. They gave freaking Cortland Sutton the bag. So Jerry Jeudy, just off of that, is going to get less of an opportunity. He's going to really have to go out there and prove something. He leads the yards, and he leads the league in yards of separation after catch. And that's something I really liked about him, but he does have drop problems, and Russell Wilson does not like to throw the ball to the middle of the field, and Jerry Jeudy likes to run routes into the middle of the field. So we'll see how it plays out. It's really going to come down to guys like that and Deontay Johnson having a good year. That will keep my team competitive this year. And then Alvin Kamara, I love that pick because he's another guy, 20 points a game as long as he's getting his touches.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't think you went wrong with the Alvin Kamara pick because he is a win now kind of guy. And I see him early in the season doing very good, putting up numbers. And you might be able to trade him to somebody for some young guys with a lot of upside for him because someone's going to have a running back that goes down. And you have lots of running backs on your team, so you can trade away one of these guys and not have to worry. Maybe you can bring in a couple young wide receivers or something like that for him. And I think he will be getting suspended sometime in the season. We don't know when that is. I know he hit someone in Vegas during the Pro Bowl. So he's still waiting his charges and everything that's going to happen with him.
But, I like that dog mentality. You're going to talk shit. He's going to kick the shit out of you. So Alvin Kamara is a dog, and that's a good reason I do like him. He is a dog.
And he's one of the best receiving running backs in the NFL. He always scores touchdowns, and he's just a guy that I like to have on my team. I don't know how old he is. I think he is getting up there a little bit. And what's scary
27.
about 27. So what's scary about running backs is like once they get over 25, 26, you never know what's going to happen with them. They could just fall off one year. We saw that with Todd Gurley. Like he was tearing it up, and then all of a sudden he got a fucking injury, and then no one ever seen him again. So
But that's actually a reason why that suspension doesn't bother me at all, because suspensions for running backs is almost just like, as long as it's not during playoff time or a big crucial time in the season, as long as you get by those weeks and stay in playoff contention and sneak your way into the playoffs, it's almost a positive because you're going to have fresher legs. Another guy that I have that is suspended right now is DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
And he's out for 6 games, but bummer. Like, whatever, as long as like I said, as long as I compete, go 3-3 those first 6 weeks.
Yep.
I got a fucking one wide receiver just in my back pocket who's going to be fresher than anyone else on the field. So suspensions really don't bother me as much as injuries. And that's why the Cam Akers, I don't know, man, he tore his Achilles. He fumbled a lot in the playoffs. It was a positive seeing him play in the playoffs, but I'm just hoping that that fumble problem doesn't continue for him.
Yeah, definitely. But like we're talking about, this is a dynasty league. This is not a redraft league. So when you pick suspended people, it's not really that big of a deal, especially when they're really good. They're proven guys. They'll be gone for a little bit, but they'll come back. You'll still have them next year. As long as they don't get injured, you're all good. So I think you had a great draft. I really liked your draft. And like you're talking about with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, I think they're both like the same guy. They both didn't have quarterbacks, and they still did good. Now they're bringing in Russell Wilson, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, who likes to throw a lot, who's very accurate, and you got both of these guys on the roster. Personally, I like Cortland Sutton a little bit more because you can wait later on in the draft to pick him, a little more high value, and I anticipate him having a big season. But Jerry Jeudy, if you look at this guy's highlights, like he cannot be touched. And even when people try to tackle him, he's breaking tackles. He's running for yards after contact, which I absolutely love. And I anticipate both of these guys just having an absolute monster of a season, which sucks for the Raiders, which sucks for my guys. But for fantasy, I would say go after Broncos, man. But don't pick them too high. Jerry Jeudy in the 5th round, that's nice. I see Cortland Sutton winning in the 8th round, which is absolute value. And that was for Michael Breen, which I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass over that. We'll get to that in a little bit later. But after seeing the way that this draft kind of panned out for us, I would have definitely tried to get Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton, and I wish that I did. But whatever. We'll get to my picks. Next on in the 3rd round, Rob Soto. Oh, wait, we're still in the 2nd. Shit. In the 2nd round, Rob Soto going after Lamar Jackson. And in the 3rd, Jalen Hurts. I think this is a reach for him. Obviously, both great quarterbacks. They're great for fantasy. They run a lot. They get a lot of points. But you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot because then later on, Gibson Mitchell. So he fucked himself when it comes to running back. What do you think about these 2 back-to-back picks from Rob in the 2nd and 3rd round? Is that a good strategy? Should people follow him in dynasty leagues, or what are you thinking?
Absolutely not. Lamar Jackson, he'll keep his job. Jalen Hurts, we don't even know if that guy's going to keep his job. And I'm a huge fan of Jalen Hurts. Have been since college, but that guy might be bagging groceries in fucking 2 years. So I'm not a huge fan of those picks. Never been a Lamar Jackson guy. He's going to have games where he struggles. Anytime he's playing a great defense, we've seen it. He's one of those guys who bullies fucking bad football. Both those guys, they bully bad football teams. When you put them against good football teams, you watch them struggle.
Yep.
So you can't be picking guys like that. And for that reason, Rob will be winning the Sacco for the next 4, 5, 10 years. Who knows?
Poor Rob. Hey, we love Rob, but
he tries. He tries.
When it comes to fantasy football, he's not the best. I do like these picks. I think they're both good, but you can get these guys in later rounds, or you could get people that are just as good in later rounds. Let's go after the monsters. Let's go after good running backs. Let's go after good wide receivers, which he did. But like I'm saying, he screwed himself a little bit with the running back picks that he got in the later rounds. You're not going to find high value guys at running back in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round. You got to go after him in the first 3 or 4. And after that, you could still get some good value guys. Like you got A.J. Dillon. I see Damian Harris went around there. We got James Cook, Devin Singletary, Ken Walker. He did end up getting Rashad Penny, which I like a lot. He also got Dameon Pierce, which is a good rookie running back that I see getting a lot of work in the 12th round. I think that's good value. Cardell Patterson too. So he did kind of redeem himself in the later rounds. But with that being said, they're not elite running backs. And you got to at least have 1, maybe 2 elite running backs. A lot of these guys are question marks. Gibson, I don't like at all. I had him last year. He fucked my team. And I don't see him redeeming himself this year. But we'll see.
Nope.
Yeah, I think so as well. But, hey, who knows? Maybe Rob will have luck on his side. And maybe he might win. Who knows? But I don't see it happen.
So let me ask you this, Damon. When you're talking, we got 4 flex spots this year.
Yeah.
Do you want those flex spots being consumed by wide receivers or running backs?
Wide receivers.
Okay.
Personally, I like wide receivers to consume those spots, but I will throw running backs in there as well. Like I got James Cook on my team, which I got in the later rounds. Breece Hall, which I would throw him in the flex. But I also have Lazard, Sky Moore, Jahan Dotson, Danny Gray, KJ Osborne. I like to go after the late round wide receivers because you can get them there. Some good value guys with a lot of upside. So personally, I like wide receivers in the flex because running backs in the later rounds can fuck you. Like, not to say that they're not good and they won't put up good numbers, but it is week to week sometimes. Like they'll do 20 points one week, then they'll have 7. But with that being said, in our league, rushing touchdowns are worth more than receiving touchdowns. Am I correct?
No, they're worth more than throwing touchdowns.
Throwing touchdowns. Okay, so yeah, then I love wide receivers in my slot. Some proven guys. Like check this out right here. We have 2 wide receiver positions in our lineup, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have Michael Pittman, Keenan Allen. In my flex, I'll throw in St. Brown, Cook, Lazard, Sky Moore, Jahan Dotson, Gray, KJ Osborne. All those guys I wouldn't mind having in my flex. But then that's kind of when it falls off because we did fucking 28 rounds in this draft. So that's when you start getting to the no-name guys that are unproven that you have no idea about. So it is a little scary. Everyone in our league is pretty up to date with who's good, who's who in the NFL. So it did make it difficult. But personally, yeah, I like wide receivers in the flex. What do you like?
I'm the opposite, man. I think running backs in the flex spots, and the reason for that is actually for the same point you made, but I think of it the opposite. I think that running backs are a lot more consistent with their points. I think that there's games where if the game plan's correct for a one receiver, they actually don't have the same kind of production as a running back, whereas a running back, a lot of the times they'll find ways to get yards, the good running backs. But I'm torn between the two because I see it going both ways. There are a lot more receivers on the board, and they have a lot more boom potential than running backs for the most part. Because you score one 80-yard touchdown on a streak, that's 16 points right there, and your team's fucking rolling. A couple more catches, and you're in business.
I think what it is, it's probably our personal experience that we've had in fantasy, right? You probably had some running backs in your flex that did good. I've had some running backs in my flex that did shit. So it just kind of scarred me, and I'm like, oh, fuck this. I'm going wide receivers all the way. This is the only reason I like that is because you can draft good running backs and then later on get all kinds of wide receivers that I like. Michael Thomas, Mike Williams, Devontae Smith, Mike Evans, Juju Smith, Cortland Sutton, Treylon Burks, Chase Claypool, Elijah Moore, all these guys you can get in the late rounds, and I really, really like them, and I wouldn't mind having those in my flex. Yeah. So I'm going after those guys as opposed to the later rounds. But with that being said, you could still get some good running backs in the late rounds too. A.J. Dillon, I really love. Rashad Penny, I really love. Dameon Pierce, I like. Chase Edmonds, I think he's going to have a better season. Guys like that, I wouldn't mind having in my flex. I got James Cook, which I won't mind throwing in there. So I think it's more what's available for you in your league at the time of your pick. Just pick the best guy once you're already set with the running backs, when you're set with the wide receivers. If you have a tight end spot, make sure you get a tight end early because tight ends are also like running backs. There's only a certain limited amount that are good, that will be productive. So I'm a big believer in get your running back taken care of, get your tight end taken care of, and then go for wide receiver, quarterback, because I think those are a dime a dozen. They're just a little more around in the later rounds. So that's just why I try to go for it. But I think if you get some good running backs and you could throw them in the flex and they're very reliable, that's a great strategy too. You can't really go wrong.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. If you have a tight end slot in your league and you're going dynasty, Kyle Pitts needs to be going in the first round.
100%.
Kyle Pitts is one of those guys, and like you said, they're very few and far between. You got Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, Travis Kelce.
Darren Waller, maybe.
He's always hurt, but yeah, Darren Waller when he's on the field.
Mark
Andrews. Probably those five, and there's a huge drop-off. After that, you're looking at guys like Noah Fant, TJ Hawkinson, who literally are probably going to get half the points over the season.
Yeah, I don't like those guys. I want one of the best tight ends if we have a tight end slot. And especially in a redraft league, if it is a dynasty league, maybe don't go Kyle Pitts first round, but definitely maybe towards the end of the first round, the start of the second round, something like that. Third round, maybe you could wait and get a guy that's nice. But I just like to have that situation taken care of, because tight end sucks when you don't have a good tight end. It's the fucking worst. And you're looking on the waiver wire trying to get somebody. But with that being said, I think there are a couple good values late if you do have a tight end spot, which I think like the Muth is Luth, Pat Firemuth, right? He's pretty good. Schultz is pretty good. Gesicki's pretty good. Dawson Knox I like. I think Goddard will be okay. Zach Ertz, maybe even Higbee. So you can still get a guy like Tunyon. So you can still get a couple guys that are okay. But, I'd rather have a Kyle Pitts, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Mark Andrews, somebody like that, a little more reliable, because those guys are consistent. They're going to at least get you 10, 15 points, and that comes in handy when you're playing someone who has a shitty tight end. You're going to fucking spank them off that. So target them early for sure.
Yeah.
On to the next. Okay, we are going now. Joe Mixon for the second round, 7th pick. On to Dalvin Cook at 2.8. Both great picks. I both like those. We talked a little bit about those. But then we got an absolute wild card in here in the second round, 9th pick by Mike Breezy himself. He is very smart. Maybe he knows something we don't. But I'm like, what the hell was that? I was kind of thrown off. I thought he maybe picked someone that he didn't mean to. We got Dak Prescott, 2.9. What are you feeling about this pick? Do you think that's good? I don't even know how old Dak Prescott is. I want to say he's around 28 or so. Why did Mike go Dak? What are you thinking?
Fuck, you listen to Skip Bayless a little too much. Who knows, man? I listen to the media loves the Cowboys, and if you're the Cowboys quarterback, you're gonna have too much hype behind you. I have no clue. That was a shocker. That was probably the biggest shocking pick of the draft for me. We'll see how it pans out. But Dak Prescott, I've never been a huge fan of him. I thought that his big rookie year, the first year that he started, he had a huge year because he had the best running back and O-line in the league. On top of that, he still had Amari Cooper out wide. It was like the old school Cowboys, but Zeke isn't who he used to be, and so that play action doesn't work like it used to. And now he doesn't have any fucking receivers besides CeeDee Lamb, who I hear a lot of hype about him. I've seen some explosive things out of him, but for some reason, he's never as productive as people say he's going to be or as he should be, in my opinion. I know he's still young, but I don't know about that pick. If you look at the splits between when Amari Cooper was on the field and off the field for Dak Prescott, it's night and day. Yeah. I'm talking about when Amari Cooper is on the field, Dak Prescott's a pretty good quarterback. When he's off the field, he's freaking Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Without Amari Cooper, I think he's going to fall off a little bit. He is good. He is solid. But I think you could have got Dak in the later rounds for sure. It's kind of a reach. Maybe that's his guy. Maybe he knows something we don't. Who knows? Maybe he'll go off and we'll be kicking ourselves in the ass wishing that we got Dak. But for now, we'll have to wait and see. On to my pick, which I really like. He is an older guy. He is 27. Like we're saying, we don't know about these running backs that are older. They could fall off at any time. He could get injured. We've seen him get injured before. But I just love Nick Chubb, man. I love Nick Chubb in the second round at the 10th pick. Like I'm saying, I saw his offseason workouts. He's squatting like 600 pounds like a monster. So I anticipate him having a big year. I do know Kareem Hunt is asking for a trade, which he did not get, but he's unhappy there. He doesn't want to be there. So that's making me think he must not be getting a lot of looks in practice. And when you ask for a trade, the coaches are not going to be happy. And I got to say, I think there's some drama going on there. So I think Nick Chubb will be getting a lot of looks. And that's a win now kind of guy, not young, probably got like maybe 1 or 2 more years. But when he was still there, I had to go for him. And right after, I knew I was going to get Breece Hall in the third. I know Breece Hall was a monster in college. He's anticipated to be great in the league, but we don't know. We never know with rookies. So it is kind of a crazy pick for me. But I'd way rather have him over Ezekiel Elliott. You did pick Kamara, which I like. I'd rather have Breece Hall over Kamara in a dynasty league. Saquon went later. This is like when it kind of fell down a little bit. I feel like this is when the elite picks kind of hit another tier, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I like the Breece Hall pick for dynasty. But what do you think about those 2 picks? Are they good? Are you kind of skeptical about it? What do you think?
So I gave you a lot of shit about those picks, but let me tell you something. A difference between, let's start with Nick Chubb. A difference between Nick Chubb and I'll put then Derrick Henry. I'll even put Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, all those guys. Not so much Aaron Jones. He's in the same boat as Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's been on a pitch count since he's been in the league. So
True.
I know he's 27 years old, but he's a fresh 27 years old. He's not taking that 30 carries a game like Derrick Henry has been, or every carry of the game that Christian McCaffrey has to, or every carry that Jonathan Taylor is going to have to. Yeah. And so when you're looking at Nick Chubb, you're looking at a guy who is on a pitch count. And I know you mentioned Kareem Hunt, who I heard that Deshaun Watson mistaked him as a masseuse early on, and that started a little drama, and he wanted out of there. But
he's trying to jack off on his face.
Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise, honestly, to have in this dynasty league. Nick Chubb still puts up huge numbers.
Yeah.
And while being on a pitch count. So you got to assume that he's going to be fresher. He's going to stay healthier throughout the season. Yeah. And I love that pick. And Breece Hall actually is in the same boat. Now, I'm obsessed with his backup, Michael Carter.
Right.
And I think Michael Carter will still get a lot of touches. I think Breece Hall will end up taking over that backfield. Just a little bit more explosive, just a little bit better vision, better running back in general. But another guy who's not going to be expected to take 30, 40 carries a game. And I think that's going to keep him fresh and healthy. And that's really all you need out of a running back, especially when you have a Najee Harris who is carrying the load of a team.
Right.
I think that those 2 guys are going to end up huge for you in the back end of the season because they're going to be fresher than a lot of these other high-end running backs.
We can only hope, but we'll see. I was taking a chance with that, but I think Breece Hall is the best rookie running back out of this draft. So I would do it again, but we'll see. It's a ballsy move.
And where did Iowa State end up in college? They had a fucking great season based off of defense and him.
Yeah.
They did not have a great passing game. Other teams knew what they were going to do. They're going to stack 8 men in the box and try to stop Breece Hall, and they couldn't.
Yep.
And so when you have a guy like that, and he went to the Jets, who don't necessarily have the best passing game, but if Zach Wilson could pan out and spread out the field a little bit, he's got some good receivers. He's got Elijah Moore out there. If he could spread out the field at all for Breece Hall could have a huge year. He could be a guy that we're looking at as the next big-time running back.
Definitely. And like you're saying, he was proven in college. Everyone knew it was going to happen, and he still made it happen. I'm a big fan of those kind of players. You know, I feel like if you can make it happen at every level, it's probably going to happen in the NFL too. So I'll take chances on those guys all day. But you never do know. We saw fucking Jamarcus Russell be awesome at LSU, and then he comes to the NFL and he's sipping syrup, not even reading the playbook. So there is levels to this shit. So that's why I don't like taking rookies that early. But in a dynasty league, I feel like I kind of had to, but we shall see. And what kind of sucks is Devontae Adams goes right after that pick, which is a big-time wide receiver. He is on a new squad with a new quarterback. There is some question marks there, but they already have a rapport. They were college roommates. They led the the WAC conference in passing, in touchdowns when they were at Fresno State together. So it's almost like a Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow kind of situation. I think it has been a while since they've been together, but I anticipate them doing good. But what do you think about Devontae in the third round? I feel like you got to take him if he's still there, right?
You have to take him, but I don't love it because he reminds me a lot of a Julio Jones. Devontae Adams is going to turn 30 years old this season. He's 29 right now. We had a discussion about this in the offseason, whether or not how long he's going to last for. And think about Julio Jones' last 3 years. So starting at 30 years old is when the injuries started to come. And Devontae Adams, another high usage guy, just like Julio Jones was. And you can only take so many hits in the NFL before your body starts to break down. And it'll be really interesting to see how long Devontae Adams stays as effective as he is right now, as the guy who literally draws double teams all game and still gets open. How much longer can he do that for will be the question. Having Hunter Renfrow on the team, though, that helps him out a lot. That's going to keep a little bit of eyes off of him. And Darren Waller, you're going to have to keep a safety over the top. So we'll see what happens.
So that's what I was going to say, actually. Devontae Adams being on the team is nice, especially for the Raiders. I'm a Raiders fan, so I'm happy about it. But I feel like, personally, I'd rather take Hunter Renfrow in the later rounds because I think Devontae Adams being on the team, he's going to demand a double team. Like you're saying, Darren Waller, if he's healthy, if he's out there, the safety's going to have to be over the top on them. So where does that leave Hunter Renfrow on single coverage? You cannot single cover Hunter Renfrow. He is the dirtiest route runner next to Cooper Kupp in the league. He is a little white guy. He's balding and everything, so people don't take him serious, but he's a fucking monster. And I anticipate him having a great year, and I'd rather take him in the later rounds, more of a value pick. But I mean, if Devontae is in the third round, whether it's a dynasty league, whether it's a redraft league, it's like almost like you got to take him.
Yeah.
So I commend the pick. I don't know if I would do that pick. I would probably go Kamara over that. Like you got Kamara in the third round, even an Aaron Jones or something like that. We got
Debo
in the fourth. Debo, yeah, Debo's like a fucking hybrid between a wide receiver and a running back, so we could give you those numbers too. So I'm unsure about it, but hey, he picked him. He is elite, so we'll see how it pans out. Like I'm saying, Mike's a smart guy. Maybe he knows something we don't, and we'll probably be kicking ourselves in the ass if he wins this year and look like fucking idiots. But on to the next pick. We got Clam Breath with Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know about that pick. I don't like it at all. I think Elliott's going to fall off. He's looking chubby in training camp. What do you think?
Looking at Clam Breath's team, man, he's a win now type of guy. I seen it. He's got a couple, Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, Aaron Jones, all of them 27 years old. They're all coming to the back end of their career. After that, Amari Cooper, you got Michael Thomas, a bunch of guys who are just older dudes. So Clam Breath is really going to have to compete with Greg for the title this year because in a couple years, man, I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to be fucking picking up rookies off the waiver wire, praying that they do something.
Yeah, he didn't really go for young guys, which is scary. We'll see how that strategy pans out. It's going to be tough because in a dynasty league from now on, all of our drafts are only going to consist of 4 rounds and all rookies. So like after the first round, it's going to be tough to get a good rookie. Maybe you got a solid guy in the first and you got to target what you need. But he's got 3 running backs that are coming on almost to retirement. I mean, I don't see them lasting very running back. And he also needs wide receivers too. And really ballsy of him to go Mark Andrews in the 5th. I mean, he is very good, but we don't have a tight end spot in this league. I would have probably went with something else personally, but Mark Andrews is great. Maybe he puts up fat numbers this year, but this is a win now team, like you're saying.
Yeah,
he might end up shooting himself in the foot for years to come. So
yeah, in 3 years, it's going to be him and Rob battling out for the Sacco every year, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. So the whole strategy I had for this one was go towards young guys. I noticed yours was kind of the same as well. The guys with a lot of upside that we've seen a little bit from that we think are going to be a lot better. Those were the guys I'm going for in Dynasty because we need these guys to last a while. We need to be able to bring rookies on very conservatively that we trust in, that we need for each position, like Nick Chubb, right? He's getting older. Next year, I'll probably be targeting a running back in the first round, then probably a wide receiver because I got Keenan Allen, who's a little bit older, right? We're going to need him to get replaced sometime soon. So I'll probably go for that. But he's got to go for everything, man. He's got to go for running back and wide receiver because everyone, Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, Aaron Jones, Cooper, Michael Thomas.
And a quarterback. The
And
guy's got one quarterback. I mean, the quarterback he has is a stud, but then he doesn't have anyone until Jacoby Brissett. He's going to start for 11 games this year and then never play football again, possibly.
Yeah, it's a little scary, man.
Yeah,
Like
what are we doing?
if this was a redraft league, I really like his drafts, right? It was solid, especially if we had a tight end slot. Like this would be a great draft. He'd have a solid team. But dynasty, I don't know. This is a whole nother strategy, and I don't think he was really thinking about that too much. He was just ready to win a championship now, which is all good. And who knows? Maybe it'll work for him. But it's a little scary to me looking at his roster right now.
Everyone needs to look at this guy's draft, and if you're in a dynasty league, try to do the opposite.
Yes, yeah. Maybe he just didn't know, though. I know, like, it was kind of last second when we came up with the dynasty and everything like that. So you do kind of got to study up on it and have a strategy for it. Maybe he didn't. But
the guy lives with me. He knows. He just didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, it happens. It happens to the best. This is his first year in the league. You know, he'll learn. So
first year playing fantasy football. So like I said, man, he's just not the guy that you're going to want to base your draft off of. You're going to kind of want to fade everyone that he picked.
Yeah, pay attention to Clam Breath. Pay attention to Rob Soto. Do the exact opposite, okay?
Yeah.
Let's get to Josh, though. Josh with a great third-round pick, Deebo Samuel. I love that pick in the third round, a hybrid between a wide receiver and a running back, lots of touchdowns. He's going to be the lifeline of this Niners team for years to come, just signed a fat contract. So I love that pick. And he also got DK in the next round, which I also like. Those are two solid wide receivers that he's taken late. Definitely I like the Deebo over DK. DK kind of has a question mark without Russell Wilson there now. He was having some troubles last year. But what do you think of these two picks by Josh in the third and the fourth?
Let's go even deeper than that. Let's look at Josh George's pick, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth
really
pick.
Nice. Really nice.
Unbelievable draft by Josh George. This is a guy you kind of want to model your draft after.
He's got Gabe Davis in the 10th, Ken Walker in the 11th. Like, come on. That's
unbelievable.
Great.
Unbelievable draft by this guy. I don't know how we let it happen.
Yeah.
So let's look at Deebo, we talked about him, bona fide stud, going to get a lot of touches, going to get a lot of touches out of the backfield, a lot of rocket screens, a lot of balls downfield. He's going to score points. Now let's go to DK Metcalf, who is an absolute freak. We saw him run a guy down after being 20 yards behind him last year. He's going to I don't care who his quarterback is. He's the type of guy you throw it up to and you'll catch it a lot like a Calvin Johnson type.
Yep.
And then we go Travis Etienne and J.K. Dobbins. Travis Etienne is a guy on an uprising offense. He has a generational quarterback that has been talked about since he was in high school to be one of the best that's going to ever touch a football, and that has proved at the college level, winning a national championship. So he's got a team that's just going to get better and better. He's a young guy. He's 23 years old. The next guy, J.K. Dobbins, another 23-year-old, got hurt last year. But if you look at his numbers towards the end of the season of 2020, just an absolute stud of a running back. Could end up being an RB1 this year with the offense that he's in. Just unbelievable. I'm kind of pissed because I talked to Josh a lot about it. Josh thought he tore his Achilles, was going to fade him. I told him, no, it was an ACL. He didn't say anything in response and then just drafts him. So,
you got to be careful what you tell people. I told Greg that I really like Zamir White, and he fucking took him in the next round. So,
yeah, it's just unbelievable. Scumbag move, snake in the grass, but you got to do what you got to do. Now you move down to Devontae Smith, another guy caught a national championship winning touchdown as a freshman from the quarterback who was also a freshman that he drafted right below him, who's also in a revamped offense with a bunch of guys that are going to play to what Tua could do. Tua's average yard of throws downfield last year was 7.2 yards on his completed throws. But when you're throwing to guys like Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, those 7.2 yards could turn into fucking 90 real quick in about fucking 9 seconds.
And they got Mike McDaniels over there now, and I really like the Miami Dolphins now. I think they're going to be a whole different team this year.
Oh, absolutely. And then right below that, he goes Kareem Hunt, who, like you were mentioning, wants to get a trade. I don't know if it's going to happen. Whether or not it does, the guy's going to put up numbers. If it does happen and he becomes a horse of a bat for some team, holy shit, man, this guy could be an RB1. Josh George might have got an RB1 in round 9. I like I said, I don't know how it fucking happened.
And
And then you
Gabe
got
Davis
jackasses like freaking Rob Soto taking Calvin Ridley before Tua. What's going on here? And Kareem Hunt, it's just a joke, man. It's unbelievable what this guy did with his draft. He's probably got my favorite team in terms of now and the future.
I'm kicking my ass because I'm looking at some of these picks. I like specifically remember right here, I was like Brandon Cooks, then I went James Cook, all because it's like I wanted younger guys and everything. But
Yep.
when I took this Brandon Cooks and James Cook, I was totally anticipating that Gabe Davis would still be there. And he almost made it back to me. But then I ended up having to go Alan Lazard, which I'm okay with, but I would have way rather had Gabe Davis, especially in the 10th.
Yep.
So what I learned from this is basically like pick your guys. If you want a guy, you can reach a little bit for him. And I wish I did, but I'm happy with James Cook and Alan Lazard. But shit, I would have been happier with Gabe Davis, and I could have even take like a Ken Walker or Dameon Pierce, which are both rookie running backs as well, which I think are kind of the same level for James Cook. But James Cook is a little bit rated higher because he will be on the Bills. And he does have a lot more upside, I'd say, because if Josh Allen likes him, if he ends up being a good back, he might end up being a fucking monster, especially in the 9th. But God, man, to let all these guys go to Josh, he had an absolute monster of a fucking draft. And I wish we would have done better,
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Okay, but now let's look at the back half of the draft. If you look at number pick 15 on, you might have my favorite draft on the board. And it's unbelievable because you took Dougie Mills. So in my mind, coming back in the 15th round, which was going to be the last round that we were drafting the first day.
Yep.
In my mind, I wanted either Evan McPherson or Julio Jones, and they get picked back to back. I should have reached. I should have fucking reached instead of taking Michael Carter in the 13th just because he's young, and I think he has a chance to still take over the backfield. I know Breece Hall's a stud, but that's going to be a battle. Michael Carter's also a stud, but I'd have definitely rather reached and taken Julio Jones, a win-now guy that would have made my team extremely competitive this year. But I thought he was going to fall. Evan McPherson, another young guy who's got ice in his veins as a kicker, thought he was going to fall. Dougie Mills, I thought no one was going to even fucking think about taking him. This guy's a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, absolute monster in college, gets hurt. Everyone forgets about him. Probably had the best rookie year of any quarterback last year when given his offensive coordinator and talent around him, and just the situation he was put into. Guy's unbelievable. Then you get KJ Osborne, the 18th, who, like I said, Vikings are going 3 wide a lot this year with their new offensive coordinator. Adam Thielen's getting up there in age. KJ Osborne might become the 2 guy in an offense that throws the ball efficiently. And just unbelievable. Danny Gray has scored 2-3 touchdowns in the preseason. Flies, a guy that freaking Shanahan's going to be able to utilize, somehow get the defense to slant, and he's going to be freaking 80 yards upfield for Trey Lance to hit him.
Yep. Yeah.
Jeff Wilson, a guy who led for rushing yards for the Niners a few years back, and a couple injuries away from doing it again.
Yeah.
And so you look at your team from pick 15 on, and it was an unbelievable draft.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I did I think where I started going wrong was a little bit like 7, maybe even 6. Like I kind of pulled the trigger on St. Brown a little bit. Like I've been watching Hard Knocks and everything, and I'm getting all excited. I'm watching Dan Campbell get all pumped up. And I did have Amon-Ra on my team last year. He put up numbers. I think he's going to have a better season, but it was a fucking reach. But this is the thing. You can't reach with wide receivers. There's a lot of value right there that I missed out on. Mike Williams would have been good. Deontay Smith would have been good. Treylon Burks, all these guys. I mean, I missed out on
Chris Olave.
Chris Olave. I mean, even Mooney, Elijah Moore. Like, these are all guys I could have gotten instead of St. Brown. And I like the Cooks pick and the Matthew Stafford. But, yeah, James Cook, I don't know. Alan Lazard, I like. Sky Moore, I don't know. But just stick with the guys in the earlier rounds that you know are going to produce. Don't take chances. Like, I like my Michael Pittman pick, Keenan Allen. But, yeah, right here in 6, I don't like. And 9, I don't really like. But I don't know. I just kind of messed up. I got excited because it is Dynasty. I was like, I'm going to go for these young guys. I know St. Brown's young. Cooks is young. James Cook is young. Alan Lazard. I like him in the 10th. I really like Sky Moore in the 11th too. Alan Lazard is not getting enough love in drafts. You can get this guy super deep. We don't have our boy there anymore. He's on the Raiders now, Devontae. So who's going to be the new number one? We don't know. They do have the new guy over there, Romeo, which I hear they want him to be number one. But I'm hearing Aaron Rodgers talking shit about him in the preseason, saying these young guys need to catch the ball. And what is he saying? That Alan Lazard is going to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver. So I can tell by the way he talks, he likes this guy. I'm going to take a chance on him all day in the 10th. And like I'm saying, I like the Sky Moore pick because he is like a Tyreek 2.0, and we know that Patrick Mahomes likes those kind of guys. I'm hoping he could do the same thing that he did in college. But yeah, I took a lot of chances, but I'd rather take chances on young guys in the dynasty league, and I could pick up some guys that I see doing good that are a little bit older if I need to win now. So we'll see how the strategy works out.
And yeah, you touched on it. Aaron Rodgers is just a sad man. We talked about it last year. He is a sad man, dude. Ripping on rookies. That's just going to tear into their confidence. It's not going to help anything. Guy took ayahuasca to become a better leader. Didn't learn anything from it. It's unbelievable.
He needs to take some more ayahuasca. Maybe he should drink it every day so he could be nice, because he's just being a dick lately.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on there? But God, we have a deep, deep, deep draft. We could go on forever about this. Let's stop it right there. We'll stop after the 4th round because that's like about where we are. And let's get into the week 1 festivities, man. We need to help people win some fucking gambling. Let's pull it up. You're the odds guy. So let's get to this week 1 shit right here. I got it pulled up on my monitor. Hold on a second. Week 1, right? Thursday night football. We got 2 of the best teams in the NFL going head to head. Bills at the Rams. What are the odds? Read them out for the guys. Let's hear it.
All right, we got a money line at minus 134 for the Bills, plus 114 for the Rams. Spreads at 2.5 in favor of the Bills. Over-unders at 52.5. What do you think about this game?
Immediately, I think take the Bills with the spread and take the over. That's what I'm thinking. What you thinking?
I'm thinking stay away from this one. These are 2 great football teams that are going to have a little bit more basic offensive strategy. So if I was to pick one right off the bat, I would say the Buffalo Bills. The Rams, they lost Robert Woods last year. They lost Odell Beckham. We saw how they played in the Super Bowl once Odell went down, and it almost costed them the Super Bowl. So we're going to have to see how the Rams do and how Allen Robinson picks up into that 2 receiver slot, because it is a big position for the Rams. You have Cam Akers, who almost blew it in the NFC division game against the Bucs, fumbled 2 times, I think, and almost costed the game. So I think that there's a lot of question marks with the Rams, but at the same time, they have so much talent. They got so much firepower that this game could really go either way. I think it's going to be a football game that I just watch, and I'm pumped to have football back on.
True. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. It'll be a good time. You'll have fun. But for whatever reason, I'm just so high on the Bills this year. I might put in a bet before the season starts for them to win the Super Bowl. That's how confident I am them and Josh Allen. They have all the pieces coming back. Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox, Gabe Davis. I mean, it's just a monster of a team with a great defense.
Tre'Davious White's healthy.
Dude, like, I just don't know if the Rams can contend with them early on. We see this a lot every year. They got the Super Bowl hangover sometimes, start a little rusty. So that's what I'd be banking on. I do like that spread, though. I mean, what is it? It's 2.5 plus 2.5.
2.5. Yeah.
Like, dude, I mean, if one of these teams is going to win, I think it'll be decided by a field goal. So either way, I think it's a pretty safe spread. If you're with the Rams, take the Rams spread. But if you got the Bills, take the Bills spread. Whoever you think is going to win, I think that's the way to go. Hey, you can win some money if you believe in the Rams too, if you take the money line. So, that could be a nice opening day Thursday. But personally, I'm going with the Bills all day, baby. I'm going with the Bills. And our favorite day of the week, Sunday morning, fucking love this, man. I'm looking forward to this so much. Just waking up at 10 o'clock, throwing on the fucking games. We got Saints at Falcons. I like that. We got the Browns at the Panthers, the Niners at the Bears, the Steelers at the Bengals, and the Eagles at the Lions. I'll tell you my two favorite games right here to bet on. The Niners at the Bears. I'm taking the Niners. I think the Niners will whoop that ass. And the Lions versus the Eagles, because I got to assume that the Lions are the underdogs. And versus the Eagles, I might take them. I might take them, baby. I want to bet opening week on the Lions because Hard Knocks is hypnotizing me into believing into Dan Campbell and these Lions. But what you thinking?
Oh, man, there is so much to like about this week. There is so much money to be won. So I agree with you 100%. But listen to this. So if you do a little parlay on the money line, San Francisco 49ers, take them over the Bears. Let's take the Eagles over the Lions.
Okay.
The Eagles, in my opinion, are going to be a team to be reckoned with this year. That's going to give you a plus 103 fucking money line. All you need is those two games that are almost guaranteed, and you're fucking making even money and some change on top of it. I think that's ridiculous. If you don't like either of those games, let's fucking throw the Colts in there and take the Eagles out, and then throw the Bengals over there.
Oh, Bengals.
Bengals. Now we got the Bengals, the Bengals over the Steelers with a fucking quarterback situation who no one knows what's going to happen. You got the Colts over the Texans, who fucking the Colts might train wreck every fucking team in the league this year, or at least in their division. Mm-hmm. And then you got the Niners over the dog shit Bears. That's giving you a plus 127 money line. Are you kidding me? Fucking rip that bet. That's unreal.
Another can't lose is, I think, the Broncos over the Seahawks. I mean, Russell Wilson's going to absolutely destroy them, right? Add that to the mix too.
Absolutely. So I was actually going to get into that bet. I took them early. They opened up at minus 4.5. What? Are you kidding me? They're now at minus 5.5 for the Broncos, but still, they're going to beat the living shit out of the Seahawks. You got Drew Lock throwing picks to freaking Patrick Surtain or Justin Simmons. You got Russell cooking something up with fucking Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, dishing it off to fucking my boy Javonte Williams. It's going to be a train wreck. I have no clue how they're messing this up. Or I think they think Russell Wilson's going to be a lot more emotional than he really is. And maybe the fans will be giving him a lot of shit for leaving. But that's just going to give a guy like Russell Wilson motivation. He believes in neutral thinking. He goes out there and says, hey, I'm just going to throw the ball to my receiver.
To me, it sounds like an opening day gift from the NFL.
A lot of opening day gifts.
Dude, beautiful. I love that. We're going to make some fucking money. But I also see another one here that I think that you'll like, Bucks at the Cowboys. What are the odds on that one right there? Is Tom Brady going to be back?
So that's a game that we are going to have to wait on and bet. I don't know what's going on with Tom Brady. Some people are saying that he's they actually don't even have that game up on FanDuel right now, probably because of that situation that's going on.
Did you hear about the rumor? Did you hear about the rumor, what he's doing right now?
Yeah, it's the biggest load of shit I've ever seen. For the people that don't know, they say he's on the Masked Singer. Yeah, it's more likely that he's banging some floozies in Tijuana. So neither one of them's happening. He's not on the Masked Singer. I just hope that his health is okay, that his family's health is okay, because for Tom Brady to miss football, it's got to be something really serious. And I just hope he's fine. I hope he doesn't quit football on me. I had two guys quit football on me last year, so I'm hoping my favorite player ever doesn't just quit.
You know what? I think there might be some truth behind that rumor, because I read into it. I was like, okay, this is a crock of shit. No way that Tom Brady would miss training camp for the Masked Singer, right? But when you start connecting the dots, right? He said he had to be gone for 5 weeks exactly, okay? What did Tom Brady do in the offseason? He retired, okay? What did he do? He signed a contract with Fox, right? To be, what is it, an announcer, a game announcer, whatever?
Yeah.
He signed the contracts, and we know contracts are hard to get out of, especially with broadcast networks like Fox. What program is on Fox, The Masked Singer? How long does it take to film The Masked Singer? 5 weeks. And we know that Tom Brady's favorite show is The Masked Singer. And who was on The Masked Singer that was a roommate with Tom Brady? Antonio Brown. And all of a sudden, when these rumors start coming out, the next day, Tom Brady is expected to be back at training camp very soon. So I don't know. This might be causing a little drama with the Buccaneers if it is true. You know, some of the guys are believing this, like myself, if they're dumb enough, if they got a lower IQ, like myself, they might believe it. It might cause a little drama, a little division. So maybe the sports line might be fucked up if Tom Brady comes back. And I'm betting on this all day because no way the Cowboys are beating the fucking Buccaneers. Even without Tom Brady, I think that the fucking Buccaneers still might beat the Cowboys, excuse me. I just have no belief in the Cowboys. I hate the fucking Cowboys, but overall, I just think they're a shitty team. And especially without Amari Cooper with CD at the 1 and Ezekiel Elliott looking really fat, I think they're going to not be very good. But I want to smash that bet right now. If it was available, I'd take it. I'm seeing right here on my laptop. I know you're saying it's not on FanDuel, but right here on covers, it is saying that the Cowboys are plus 1.5. I would smash the fuck out of that all day. What are you thinking?
Well, first off, let's touch on that whole Masked Singer thing again. Tom Brady is an absolute legacy guy. We're talking about a guy who's taken pay cuts his whole career just to make sure his team's competitive. The last thing he's going to do is tear up a locker room to go be on the Masked Singer.
Yeah.
If Fox wanted to give him any kind of shit for it, he would say, hey, go screw yourself. I'll go work for Amazon because they're going to take over a lot of these NFL slots pretty soon here. I'll go work with them. I'll go work for whoever I want. I'm Tom fucking Brady.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of times, yeah, negotiations with Fox would be hard. But when you're Tom Brady, I don't think negotiations are hard. And let's not forget, he doesn't give a shit about that money. His wife makes 5 times as much as he does. So he's not money strapped. He's not a guy who's he's just not going to add distractions to a team. I'm sure he's bummed out that this rumor came out because, like I said, I'm sure it's something serious that he doesn't want to be dealing with in his personal life. And
right
now people are saying that he's on the Masked Singer going out in a goat head.
Like, what if he really, really loves the Masked Singer, though? Like, what if that's his shit, you know?
Well, I have a whole different view on Tom Brady at that point. And I think a lot of people will, and I think he probably realizes that too. Like, take a look in the mirror and said, hey, I can't be doing this. Like,
yeah,
what am I, like, there's no way. There's no freaking way. I'll be in such shock if that's the truth behind the situation. And if my quarterback misses a fucking game to be on the Masked Singer, I'm kicking him out the fucking door. Bring the rookie in. I'll pick up Kyle Trask off of waiver wires. Tom Brady's not going to have a good season if that's the case. And I'll never say. If anyone
were to do this, though, it would be Tom Brady because Tom Brady could do it. Like, his coaching staff would be like, yeah, Tom, go ahead. Like, go on the Masked Singer, bro. Like, yeah. And you'll still start week 1.
That's more of an Aaron Rodgers type deal, in my opinion. I think if someone were to do that, it'd be Aaron Rodgers fucking on the Masked Singer trying to host Jeopardy. It's just not a good look if that's the case.
Yeah, definitely not. And like you're saying, it's probably something serious going on for that guy to miss football. We know he loves football more than anything, more than his own family. So to be missing it for the Masked Singer, that'd be very, very weird. But where there's smoke, there's usually fire. So who knows? Maybe something's going on like that because maybe he still wants that Fox contract. I know they give him the check, but he doesn't need it. I don't know. It's weird. It's just causing a lot of skepticism right now. I got the skeptical hippo eyes, so who knows? But I'll tell you a game that I'm going to bet on personally, right here on Sunday at 4:25 Pacific Eastern time, 1:25 for us on the West Coast right here. We got the Raiders at the Chargers. Chargers minus 3.5. The fucking disrespect. Are you fucking kidding me right now? We seen them go up twice last year. Once to get into the fucking playoffs. And what happened? The Raiders won. And you're going to give the fucking Chargers minus 3.5. Bump that down to minus 2.5. Or let's take the fucking Raiders on the money line, baby. I'll take the Raiders on the money line all day. And I'll smash that shit. I'm going to bet on it. I'm very emotional about this. This is making me mad. We just got Devontae Smith on the team. Are you kidding me? You're going to say they're going to beat us? I don't know. What you think about that? I'm betting on it, but I'm a Raiders fan.
You mentioned Devontae Adams. That's a huge pickup for you guys, but let's not forget the Chargers had some massive pickups too. They got J.C. Jackson, the cornerback out of New England. They picked up pass rusher. Was it Khalil Mack that they picked up?
Khalil Mack, yep.
So they picked up those two guys. That absolutely changes the defense. You got Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack coming off opposite sides of each
No
other
doubt.
with frickin' J.C. Jackson, who will probably end up taking Hunter Renfrow, and that's going to be a great matchup. I think that's going to be the matchup of the day that really decides how this game goes.
Definitely.
If J.C. Jackson could somewhat contain Hunter Renfrow, I think that the Chargers will win this game. If he can't, the Raiders will win the game. And so it's going to be really interesting to see. And then Joe Staley, what's he going to do? Is he going to keep going for it on fourth down? Is he going to fucking get his quarterback in the playoffs?
Yeah.
The guy literally, all he had to do was not call a timeout last year, and his team's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, Vegas might have had a gun to his head saying, hey, you better fucking do something right now because we cannot tie. We're going to lose a lot of fucking money tonight if this game ends in a tie. I'm one of those. I would have won, I think, $3-4 grand off of that, betting on Jacksonville to win and freaking the Raiders Chargers to tie. So when you look at it like that, man, it's going to be a great game. It's another game that I'm probably going to stay away from. But if I were to bet, I think I would bet on the Chargers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little biased. You know, I get emotional about these things. I know the Raiders personally. The thing I like about this matchup, like you're saying, is J.C. Jackson will have to be on Hunter Renfrow. And I have yet to see any cornerback be able to take Hunter Renfrow one-on-one. He's just very quick, very fast, and Derek Carr really loves him, especially with the addition to Devontae. They got 2 on him. And then if Darren Waller is healthy, I see Darren Waller being force-fed like he is every time he's on the field by Derek Carr. And what I really like is our new head coach, right? He's a Patriots guy. We see how the Patriots operate. And guess how many fucking running backs we have right now? We have 5 that are absolutely tearing it up during the preseason. We got Josh Jacobs, Zamir White, Amir Abdullah. I forget the other guys' names, but they've been balling out. I don't know it right now at the top of my head. But I think that's going to come into account a lot because they do know Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are on the edges. We're going to have to do really, really fast passes. So I think we're going to run the shit out of the ball, get them on their toes a little bit, get that pass rush chilling out a little bit, and that'll give Derek Carr more time to throw, find his boy Devontae. I think Devontae is going to do amazing. I honestly see us winning by a lot. I think that the Chargers coaching staff is what fucks them up. I think they have a great team. And I just have no belief in John Staley. Unless he totally changed up his whole entire philosophy, he's going to be doing shit differently. I think that guy's just not cut out for the NFL. I think they need to get a new coach, like someone who's been around the block a little bit. That's just me. Like I'm saying, I am biased. I don't know if you want to listen to me. I am in the AFC West. I also think that the Broncos ain't going to be shit, but you know, that's biased right there. So don't listen to me at all. So, but I'm betting maybe.
Well, let's look at the money lines for futures bets actually in that division.
Let's see.
So you got the Chiefs at plus 155. I would stay away from that. That's not enough of a value to be betting on a division that really is a toss-up. Mm-hmm. You got the Chargers at plus 240. That's all right. You got the Broncos at plus 260. That's all right. But you got the Raiders at plus 700. You touched on it. They got a new coach.
Yep.
So if we're going to make any bet about that, I would honestly like the futures bet for the Raiders to win the division more so than betting on that game itself. Yeah. At plus 700, I think if the Raiders can beat the Chargers week 1, I think the Raiders become instant contenders, and that money line drops to somewhere about plus 400 overnight. And so I think if you're talking about value on a bet, I like the Las Vegas Raiders to win that division. Just because, like you said, man, Josh McDaniels has to be one of the best offensive coordinators of all time. And now he's working with Derek Carr, who is a quarterback who I think can get it done. I think he has a lot of upside. He's dealt with how many different coaches. He took a team to playoffs last year that was in shambles, lost their head coach for being racist, had a guy kill a girl and her dog. He's in jail. And so now that all that's gone, he has a true one receiver to get some attention off of guys like Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. It could be a whole new Raiders team, and that's something that I'd want to bet on.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. The only team that I'm really scared about is really the Broncos. I think that the Broncos will be good, especially for fantasy. I don't know how their record's going to turn out, but they're really the other team that I think could win this division. I'm not really scared of the Chargers. I'm not really scared of the Chiefs. But we'll see. It could go either way. We don't know. But I do really like that pick for the Raiders for the value. You could put in what, like $100 and win 700 off that. That's a nice payout. I also have a good, I don't know what they're at right now, if you could check, but I think the Miami Dolphins might be a good value for winning their division this year. I really like them, even though they got the Bills in it. That's the only thing, but I have a feeling that's going to be a high payout. And I really, really like Mike McDaniels over there. The Raiders just played them yesterday, and I saw the offensive schemes that they got going on, and they look really, really good. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. What are they at right now?
They're at plus 450.
No, never mind. Okay, I thought it'd be way higher than that since the Bills were in there.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Probably stay away from it. The Bills are unreal this year, but you never know. You're talking about a Dolphins team that went 500 last year, and did it off of defense, and then you bring in a head coach and Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert's a guy who's not really talked about, but every time he is on the field, the guy's fucking electric. The guy goes off for 100 yards every time he freaking touches a ball, it seems like.
And Chase Edmonds too. Chase Edmonds is over there as well, and I think he's going to do great in this system. He actually turned down money from a lot of other teams that were going to pay him more because he wanted to go into Mike McDaniel's system and prove himself and get an even bigger paycheck. So he's got something to prove. He's going to come out there wanting the ball. I think
absolutely
both of those players I think are a great value in fantasy, and I'm looking forward to betting on the Dolphins all year. I think they're going to be great.
Yeah. Well, how about the disrespect here? They got the Ravens, the favorite to win their division. You got Baltimore at plus 145, and then the Bengals at plus 170.
Whoa.
What do you think about that? I think that's a little disrespectful, and I think you should throw some money on the Bengals with their reamped O-line and guys who proved it last year.
100%. I think the Bengals might make another deep run into the playoffs, if not go back to the Super Bowl. What has changed on that team? Nothing. You got Joe Burrow with the even bigger chip on his shoulder now with something else to prove. I mean, that guy runs off motivation like that, just like Tom Brady. So I would smash that all day. That's super disrespectful. The fucking Bengals, are you kidding me?
Unbelievable.
Lamar's that good now? They literally got rid of Hollywood Brown, and they bring in what the fuck's his name? The guy from Arizona? What the hell's his name? Moore?
Yeah, Elijah Moore.
No, what the hell's his name?
No.
Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore. There we go.
Yeah. So that's stupid to me. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe Joe Burrow's got chlamydia or something like that.
Well, he ruptured his he had something go on in the off season. He had some kind of like his gallbladder or something went, and he had to get surgery on that. So he hasn't played, but it's Joe fucking Burrow, man.
Joe Burrow.
He'll be fine.
Brr. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know what the hell to think of that. I don't know at all. What are the Colts looking like, though, right now? I think the Colts are going to do great this year with the addition to Matt Ryan. I want to hear what they're at right now.
They're at minus 125 to win their division. They're the favorites. The next is the Tennessee Titans, who was the 1 seed that people forget all the time because they got knocked out first round by the Bengals.
Yeah.
The Titans were the 1 seed last year at plus 170. I kind of agree with that. I'm going to stay away from that division as far as future bets.
Yeah.
The division I really like is the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the NFC East this year. And I don't know what people are looking at, why the Cowboys are still the favorite to win that division, but I would throw some money on the Eagles. They're at plus 170. And if you don't like the Eagles, go with the Commanders. Carson Wentz was a top 9 quarterback last year. Another thing people forget, because of the ending of that season, him losing to Jacksonville and having maybe the worst game a quarterback's ever had.
Yeah.
But he's a douchebag, but he's still a good quarterback. He's got some weapons. Last year, and Michael Pittman, his only weapon. Terry McLaurin's an upgrade to that.
Jahan Dotson, rookie on the squad, supposedly really good in training camp. Like, who did they have? What was the guy's name that played for the Commanders last year? He's Heineke.
Taylor Heineke, yeah. And Tyler Heineke is a guy who has more heart than anyone I've ever seen on a football field besides maybe Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Carson Wentz is an upgrade at quarterback from him. And
that's hard to say too, like because like you're saying, a lot of people have a lot of emotion when it comes to Carson Wentz because of how bad he did towards the end of the year. But I think it's an upgrade as well. I think that's going to be good for them and the wide receivers. And when it comes to fantasy, especially, I did take Jahan Dotson. I'm excited about that with Carson Wentz being there. But yeah, that's a good value as well. What are they at to win the division?
The Commanders are at plus 500.
Wow. What's crazy is that the Raiders are at plus 700. I really can't believe that to win the division, dude.
Yeah, disrespectful as hell. Another one that does not have enough respect is the Minnesota Vikings are at plus 240. So don't forget the Green Bay Packers lost their number one form of production on offense.
Yeah, for real. What's going to happen with them? We don't know.
So, yeah, Aaron Rodgers bagging on fucking his rookies, taking ayahuasca. I like the freaking Vikings at plus 240. I think I'm going to throw some money on that too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm a Raider fan. I'm for sure throwing money on the Raiders to win the AFC West. I think that I might throw some money on the Bills to win the Super Bowl because I really like the Bills. What's that at? Is that like plus 200 or something right now for the Bills to win the Super Bowl? It's got to be something low, right?
Bills to win the Super Bowl is, let's see, let's get back over. Is at plus 600.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
I might have to throw in for sure then. I think that's going down for sure, man. I think it's one of those years where everyone knows it's coming and it's just gonna manifest.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the favorite? Who do you think?
I just don't like to pick the favorite to win the Super Bowl and bet on that. I would sprinkle some money on the Chargers. Like I said, I really like their team, and I think if their coach gets his head out of his ass, that
that's what they need.
They could have made a run last year. Who knows? It's a playoff football, so you never know what's going to happen once you're in. You just got to get in.
Don't forget this though. The Raiders were one bad call away from making it and to beating the AFC champs. I mean, that's also why I think that's a good value.
They're at plus 4,000 to win the Super Bowl.
Come on now, like we got to look for the value picks and stuff. And like I know everyone hates on the Raiders and everything, but like they were actually doing pretty good last year for a team in shambles. So to have a team that's collected, cool, calm, and collected this year, adding some new pieces, I think Vegas is just hating on them right now. I don't know why, but
to put it in perspective, man, the Raiders and the Vikings and the Dolphins and the Patriots and the Saints all have the same odds to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I think that's very disrespectful to the Raiders. It's a team that's going to have a harder time getting in because their division. But once they're in, they have a way better chance than the fucking Vikings or the Patriots or the Saints. It's unbelievable. Or the Dolphins. Well,
this is
how are the Dolphins in there?
I don't know. Here's another point though. Like how you're saying you don't want to bet on the Bills. I think if you were to bet on the Bills, do it now because you already know that number is going to go down throughout the season because we know they're gonna win lots of games. Like by the time the playoffs rolls around, we know they're gonna make the playoffs at least. They'll probably be at what, like plus 200, plus 250. So I would say if you do believe in the Bills, throw it in now, just a little sprinkle. You don't even need to throw that much in there. I think $100 on the Bills would be a good investment, honestly, because they are going to make it deep into the playoffs, I anticipate, at least to the AFC Championship probably, or the round right before the AFC Championship, like we saw them do last year with the Chiefs in that fucking amazing game. I don't know. Is there any other teams you want to touch on for the futures?
I want to touch on the Colts for the futures, but not in terms of making playoffs. It is for the best record of the regular season.
Wow.
The Colts are at plus 1,600. Now, I don't think the Colts are the best team in the league. No. Let me read off the schedule to you real quick. And tell me let's just say win or loss.
Okay.
Week 1, Colts at Texans.
Win.
Week 2, Colts at Jags.
Win.
Week 3, Chiefs at Colts.
Maybe loss.
Okay. Titans at Colts.
That's gonna be a good game, but I'll say loss just to be conservative. Let's say loss.
Okay, and then they got the Broncos.
Ooh, okay, that's a tough game too. I'll give that to them though. I'll say win.
Okay. So I would flip-flop those two, but we're still at the same record, 3-2 so far. So now here we go. We got Jags at Colts.
Win.
Yep. Colts at Titans.
Win. Let's go win again.
Commanders at Colts.
Win.
We got Colts at Patriots.
Win.
Colts at Raiders.
Oh, loss.
Yeah. Eagles at Colts.
I'll give it to the Colts. Win.
Steelers at Colts.
Win.
Colts at Cowboys.
Win.
Colts at Vikings.
Win.
Colts at Chargers.
Ooh, I'll say win.
I'll give them a loss there. So you say win, I say loss. But then they end up the season Colts at Giants.
Win.
And Texans at Colts.
Win.
So being conservative, giving them the loss against the Chargers, you have them only losing 3 games. That's 14-3. I have them losing 4 games. That's 13-4. And you look
Maybe
at
they
every
lose 5. Maybe they lose 5. Yeah. That's a great schedule for them.
So every other team that has lower odds, that has the prediction to have a better season, they were all division winners last year. So they have much tougher schedules. The Bills have to see they're going to have to play in shitty weather against the Patriots.
Right.
They have to play just all kinds of teams. They got to play the reamped Dolphins. They got the I think they have, let's see who else the Bills have. The Bills have a lot of tough games this year. Pull that up. They have to play the Ravens away. They have to play the Packers. They have to play the Browns once what's it called? Sean Watson's back. They got to play the Bengals late in the year. They've got to play the Rams week 1. They just have a lot more games that they can lose, whereas the Colts have a cherry schedule for the most part. And if they could sneak away with this couple of tough games, we're looking at a team that could go freaking 15-2, in my opinion, on the upside. And I think low side, they go 13-4 for at plus 1,200. I think I got to bet on that all day, because then you're looking at the Packers, who play freaking the Vikings twice. They lost their best weapon. You got the Chiefs, who have the best division in football. You got the Rams, who have the second best division in football. You got the Cowboys, who suck. You got the Ravens, who fucking play the Bengals twice. And then they're a huge question mark. What did they really do last year? Mm-hmm. And then right there, the Colts plus 1,600. So I'm going to throw some money on that.
I really like that. Like you're saying, it's the schedule, it's the matchups. And they did very good last year with Carson Wentz stinking up. So JT is still on the team. He's still going to be a monster. And then you add in a veteran, Matt Ryan, with Michael Pittman. A lot of other young weapons on that team, which I see probably taking a step up with the actual quarterback who's a little more consistent. So I see their record improving by a lot. And what were they last year? I think 7-8 or something like that, or maybe I think it was around there. I forget. But yeah, I really, really like that bet. But like you're saying, it's all because of the schedule, who they're playing. Which
they were 9-8 last year.
9-8 with Carson Wentz, and they lost to that last game to the Jags, which they should have won. So they're more like 10-8 or something like that. You know, they should have been
10-7. Right
Add
there.
Matt Ryan on that team, you're getting 3 more wins automatically.
Absolutely.
A lot of close games that they had too. So, yeah, I really, really, really like that bet. That's a good one to throw in. I think that's high value. Along with the Raiders winning the AFC West, I would say that one's a little more of a good value because I think you're right. They'll probably have the best record in football.
Yeah. So, quick recap. I think we've touched on pretty much everything. Let's just really quick, just fire through our bets that we're going to be throwing in within the next couple days here. So my bets are going to be, I don't know exactly how I'm going to parlay it yet. I'm going to have to run through some numbers, but I'm going to definitely be betting on the Bengals money line. I'm going to be betting on the Eagles money line.
Yep.
I'm going to be betting on the Colts money line.
Niners
money line. And then I'm going to be betting on I already bet on the Broncos spread.
Yeah.
So those are my big games for the week. For conference winners, we touched on it. I'm going to throw some money on the Raiders.
Yep.
I'm going to throw some money on the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw some money on the Niners, but that's just because I'm a fan. I don't know if anyone should ride with that.
They have a good chance.
Yeah, I'm going to throw some money on the Bengals at plus 170. So those are going to be my teams for division winners. And then, like I said, and then the Colts for the best record in the league. Those are going to be my bets I'm going to be making before the season even starts.
Let's do it, baby. Well, I'll tell you what, this isn't the last podcast that we're going to do before this season starts. I do got to dip out of here, though, in like 10 minutes because I got to go golfing. So it was fucking fun, bud. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We'll definitely recap the rest of the draft, too, because there's a lot that we need to cover still when it comes to that. We can also touch on some other shit that we find in the betting world that we can help our fans get some fucking money and make that cheddar.
Yep.
But, happy fucking Sunday, man. We're a couple weekends away. You know, this thing's about to fucking come in here with the boom, baby.
Oh, yeah.
So let's
betting season is on.
Let's go. Football is back, baby. Let's go. College football, too. In like 1 week, I'm about to go hit up a Stanford game. God, I love it, man. This is the best time of year. Barbecue, fucking just sitting on the couch all fucking day, throwing in bets, making some money, you know, like I missed it so goddamn much, dude. I'm so happy right now.
Yeah, and let's say this, man. Last year, my bankroll that I was willing to lose gambling was $5,000.
Yep.
Let's tell you this. That thing's at least tripled. I'm not going to get into too many details, but
let's go.
The bankroll's a lot higher this year to be betting. I'm a lot more confident in what I'm doing as far as gambling goes. And so we're going to go for a hell of a ride this year. Hell, maybe I'll fucking lose all my money, but
well,
it's going to be a hell of a ride doing it.
Well, if it's anything like last year, you're going to be making the people money. You're going to be making me money and yourself money. So that's why we're so fucking popular. That's why we're the best fucking NFL podcast around, baby. And this is the year we take it over.
Let's go.
Let's go. Come on, baby. All right. Well, it's been a good show. And we'll see you guys next Sunday.
Seriously, everyone throwing that Colts bet. They're fucked up. I don't think the NFL realized that the Colts schedule was a free fucking 12-win season on a team that's probably going to sneak. Let's say they 12 wins and they're going to sneak 2 out of 3 of the hard ones at least. So
100%. We're finding the loopholes here. We got Ito. He probably will end up working for Vegas within the next couple of years. So enjoy it while you got him because it's not for a long time. He's going to have to go over to the dark side here pretty soon.
Yeah. Hopefully. Hopefully. All right, man.
All right.
It was fun.
It was super fun. I'm looking forward to doing this the whole season, baby.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
All right, man.
We out.